Hey guys, Coach here, and right out of the rip, I want to do something that I haven't had to do on the channel very much, and that is offer up an apology. I did a video not too long ago regarding the subject matter that we're doing here today, and I did not do a very good job. I did not have Maestro with me, and I set up the camera and everything went not so great. And we went ahead with it anyway, and I told myself the first comment that draws attention to what I thought was unprofessional, that I was going to take it down. And it's down. It's gone. And by the way, Reggie, if you're watching, thank you. We do take constructive criticism pretty well. Constructive criticism. In any case, we're redoing it, and what we're talking about here today is irrigation valve wiring. The how-tos and the ways to make it a little easier. So let's start off with the wire itself. I'm talking to the residential DIYer. I'm not talking to a commercial installation. That's a whole different kettle of fish. Oftentimes much larger wire and much longer distances. Here we're talking about going from your back wall of your house to your valves down on the ground or in your garage, right outside, etc. So we're going to be talking about multi-strand wire. And multi-strand wire is relatively inexpensive these days, relatively. Compared to 10 years ago, no, it's not. It's gone through the roof. It's copper. Everything is more expensive. But what I wanted to show you is the multi-strand wiring way. You can bring in all the same color wires. If you have extra wire laying around and it's all white wire, you can do that. However, the industry standard is using the colored multi-strand wire that goes from your timer controller out to the wires on the solenoid of your valves. So here we are, the multi-strand wire, and generally you'll get a roll of it or ask for feet of it at the box store, the hardware store. Yes, Mr. Raven. In any case, it'll come in a black casing like this, and the wires will be inside. And what you'll see is probably, depending on how many valves you have, you want to have at least one more strand of wire than you do valves. And I'll explain exactly why. So if you have 4 valves, you want at least a 5-strand wire to pick up. If you have 5 valves, you want at least, they generally come in odd numbers. So 3s, 5s, 7s, 9s. I don't think they go above 9-strand. So in any case, in our case, we're wiring up here at Brook and Pond, and we're using 5-strand wire. And you're going to want to pull the casing back out. You're going to want to gently cut along it and then cut the casing off. And then this will be what's exposed. And you'll see 5 different colored wires. These are 22 gauge wire, and it is going to be wired into the solenoids of your valves. Industry standard that I came from and the way I was taught is that your white wire is always going to be the common wire. And what does the common wire do? In your timer controller, you'll have a lug, generally at the bottom, that'll either be a toggle or a screw tightened lug that'll say C on it or COM on it, and that's what's going to complete the circuit of the electricity that's going out to your valves and then returning back to your timer controller. This is the common wire. Then you have the colored wires, which we call in the business the zonal wires. And they could be any color you want. Can you wire it up making the common wire yellow? Yeah, you can. It's no big deal. You can use the brown wire if you want. You can use any colored wire. You can use any of the wires. It's just commonly used, no pun intended, was we use the white colored wire. But you do what you want to do. I'm going to teach you how I was taught and how the industry generally rolls. So the zonal wires are going to be attached to the second wire of your solenoid. The solenoids on 99.9% of all irrigation valves sold in the US and around the world are unipolar. So it doesn't matter which wire you pull from the solenoid to put to your zonal wires and to the common bundle that I'm going to show you here in a second. It doesn't matter. Just make sure that you have stripped back and exposed enough copper from your zonal wires and your common, as well as your solenoid wires. And the reason for that is you're going to be putting some lock nuts on here, preferably lock nuts that are filled with dielectric grease. They're called dry locks, and they work really well. I don't use the toggled ones. I don't use dry Scotch locks unless in some rare instances you're in a dry valve environment. You're not outside. Maybe you have them in a utility room or something like that. Maybe you could get away with dry Scotch locks, dry connectors. But 95% of us are going to be out in the yard, going to be out in a greenhouse or some environment like that where there's going to be humidity, moisture, and water. So use the dry lock connectors. Okay, let's go over to the valves and I'll show you what I did and why I did it. And then I'll show you just a little tips on how to do it neatly and give it a nice professional look. Okay, welcome to my valve house. It's a nice quality NDS valve box house that goes around your valves that you see down in there. This is for a combination of UV protection. It's a combination of rodent protection, and it's a combination that you have it where if you have to set this out in a lawn or you have to set it in some place where there's going to be foot traffic or whatever, you can set this down all the way to grade by cutting and modifying the sides of it. But for right now, I set it just on top of the pipes, and this is kind of an industry standard when it comes to inline valves or valves that are at or below grade. If you have anti-siphon valves, then they might be up above the grade, and you generally don't use these. But here's our wire bundle. And like I showed you earlier, we have our colored zonal wires and we have our common wire here. So here we have one wire from each of the solenoids. I have 4 valves, 4 solenoids, and they will be stripped and bundled and then put together with the dry lock connector with your white common wire. There's how it looks when it is done. And this should be a nice firm, tighten down until you can feel a lot of resistance, and then a little tug test. You don't want that sitting on there nice and loose. Then we go to the zonal wires or the colored wire. And what you have is you have the other wire from each solenoid and a separate colored wire joined together. And what this does is it completes your electrical circuit. This is all low voltage stuff. You don't have to worry about being electrocuted. This is literally, if one of these was activated, it would be millivolts, milliwatts coming out to here. It's very, very little, and you're not gonna get electrocuted at all. So that would be a way of completing it. One of the things that you will find is you can remember the old bread wrapper twist ties. These generally come with your valves, and these bundle up your solenoid wires just for packaging purposes. And what I've done over the years is I have saved these, and then you can take and rewrap and retuck the wires in a nice, neat bundle so that you have everything pretty much together and they're not just laying out all over inside the valve box or on the ground or whatever. It makes for a nice, neat, professional look. Then take yourself a zip tie and you can tuck these down into the valve box next to a valve. Take and circle around with the zip tie, and you can secure this down next to one of the valves where the wire nuts are facing up like that. So any moisture that comes into the valve box or around the wires is going to fall down the wire bundle and not into your connections. So wire it, and the finished look should be something similar to like that. And that's the completion of valve zonal wiring bundle. And then if you want to get really fancy, document which valve wire and which color goes to which valve, because you know that this one goes to your back planting bed, this one goes to your vegetable garden, this one goes to the containers around the house, and this one over here does some beds out front. Well, if you identify which wire goes to which valve, you can make sure that you wire it up inside according to that, and then you can set your time for those zones, because maybe your vegetable zone won't need as much water as your back boulder bed. That way, write it down or document it on your phone or whatever, saying zone 1 is the yellow wire, zone 2 is the brown wire, etc. I hope you got something from that, and I do apologize for the first video. I was somewhat embarrassed about the way it came out, and it is no longer there. If you have any questions about this or anything landscape related, drop it in the comments below. And when you check out the channel, if you want to get into a very much involved and detailed type of irrigation education, check out the playlist on the channel. We have a whole set of just irrigation type of educational videos. And as always, to your landscape success, and I'll say bye for now.